Start mulai ya.
Oke, mulai aja.
Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our visiting lecture event today. I would like to seek your cooperation completing this visiting lecture. Kindly ensure your microphone in Zoom is mute to avoid interruption. Thank you for your keen cooperation and attention to this. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Honorable Dr. Vira Butova, PhD. And a very well welcome to all participants and students from STEKOM University. Is it indeed a pleasure to have all of you in this memorable occasion today? We will learn the topic today is learning skill in the 21st century education and work environment. For the schedule agenda for today, we will continue with presentation from Dr. Vira Butova and continue with question and answer session. And after that, we will continue with take a picture for documentation. So we will start for this class today for Dr. Vira Butova. The time is yours. Thank you. Voice.
Please
I'm
unmute.
sorry, Miss, your
Please
voice still
unmute the
mute.
microphone. Please unmute the microphone.
So,
Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, great. Once again, restarting. So, dear guests of my lecture, I am glad to see you, my colleagues, our colleagues, and the students from Indonesia, from our partner university. And I am going to tell you about, first of all, our university a little bit to get acquainted, because it is the first lecture for you. And then we are going to speak about the learning skills for the 21st century in the learning and working environment. So first of all, I am the English teacher of a small teachers training pedagogical university in the northeast of Ukraine. Our town is rather small, and it is very, very close to the border with Russia, and it means that we are very close to the country which is fighting the war with us, against us, for several years, and very actively since February of the previous year. So it means that our students, our education process is conducted online only because of the dangers, some dangers for students. But still our students are eager to work, and they work online if it is and how it is possible to do it. So our university has very rich traditions in training teachers. It is one of the old pedagogical universities in Ukraine. It is situated in the old and beautiful buildings. It trains teachers of different subjects, beginning with English, native Ukrainian language, literature, mathematics, or natural sciences, labor training, and so on and so forth. And we train specialists in education management also. So our university is rather small, but cozy, and has rich traditions, and we train good teachers who work not only in the educational establishments of Ukraine, but also in different spheres. So they are rather good specialists, and they are rather successful in building their careers. That is why I have chosen the topic for my lecture as the skills for the 21st century necessary for becoming a specialist, for becoming a successful personality, and for becoming an efficient employee. So first of all, the next. What I did it today? First of all, I would like to pay your attention to the structure of these skills, the areas of these skills, different aspects. First of all, the wider circle includes 3 areas. The blue one is becoming an engaged thinker. So the first and the foremost skill necessary for becoming a successful professional in the 21st century includes 2 things: critical thinking and the ability to solve the problem solving, and being a creative and innovative person, that is creativity and innovation. Thinking is the main thing, and being able to think critically is still more important. Then entrepreneurial spirit, the blue, light blue part of the circle includes lifelong learning. So it means that after obtaining the diploma, your studying is not stopped. It will continue, it will go on, and you will have to become a successful specialist every several years. You will have to update your knowledge, your skills, and lifelong learning is actual. Self-direction and personal management means that you are able to plan your career, to build it according to the to your strivings, to your desires, and to the necessities of the society you are the part of. Being a part of the team, being a part of the staff includes the collaboration and leadership, such features. So it means that you are really a part of the team which has this the common idea, the common aim, and you are just ready to support everybody in the team and to align your work and your ways of work with the others to achieve the common aim. Then ethical, being an ethical citizen is the aim also of the 21st century skills learning. So because ethical aspects are the integral part of the 21st century's specialist, because it is possible, there is an important aspect. It is possible to be a professional, but without being an ethically aware person, and be without social responsibility and cultural, global, and environmental awareness. It is impossible to become a really great specialist and citizen of the country, and to participate in building the prosperity of the country. For this, communication is also important, and digital literacy. And I think that as your students are the IT students, so digital literacy is maybe the most familiar kind of activity for them, and this literacy is well developed for them. I hope so. Can anybody answer my question? So which part of, may I ask the student, will anybody try to answer? May I ask a question to the students? Will they try to answer? I can't hear you, sorry. So maybe somebody will answer my question. you have seen all these parts, all these constituents of the 21st century learners' qualities. Which quality do you consider to be, do you see to be the most important for you, maybe the most familiar for you? Will it be possible to hear the answer? Or no? Silence. Окей, Дим, наступний слайд. А тільки так? Тоді сідай разом зі мною.
Next slide.
Так. Ага. So for the continuation of of my lecture, I have chosen the quote of John Holt. He is a famous American educator. So he was the supporter of the idea of non-schooling. So non-schooling means that education shouldn't be obtained in the special educational establishments, but at home. It is quite possible he considered it possible and even necessary to educate people in the natural home environment, and for that, game activities mostly were used. And his quote goes as the following: learning is not the product of teaching, learning is the product of the activity of learners. So I have chosen this quote of him because I think it is absolutely correct. It is absolutely true to life. And it is, in Ukrainian, they say, it is impossible to teach, it is possible only to learn. It means that a student must be an active participant of the educational process, not just the passive listener of the teacher's lectures, just like me, but to actively participate in the educational process to obtain the necessary knowledge and skills and abilities and competencies. They are possible. These knowledge, skills, abilities, and competencies, so they are possible only to be learned and to be mastered by learners, by students themselves. So if only a teacher is active in the educational process, alas, the results will be are not going to be a success, at least let us say this way. So it means that the previous things I mentioned you, we saw at the previous slide, the constituents of the 21st century skills list and areas. So they are really obligatory, they are really necessary. And it means that all these skills must be included into the learning process, educational process. And it means that every student is the builder, the designer of his or her or their career, their professional growth, their professional activity, and their success in life on the whole. Because at the very end, if you realize, if you put the goals, proper goals, and if you realize the ways of their achieving, so it means that you will sooner or later become a successful professional, and it will be the result of your own activities as a learner, as the student. Так, Дім, тут покажи мені, як тут. Ага. So, thanks. The next slide. So I have chosen two more quotes by Albert Einstein. So everybody knows that his theory of relativity, he was a great, really, physicist, and he was also known, famous for his unusual, non-traditional way of thinking. And one of his quotes sounds like that: education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. So it is the English translation of the German quote, because he was born and he was educated and he began his research activity in Germany, and only during the Second World War he moved to the United States. But here is the paradox of the educational process and educational results. So education is what remains after you forget everything you learned at school. It means that the next slide will be the detailed explanation of it. We shall continue it, but here the main idea is you are to obtain, to master the abilities and competencies, not just facts, not just bare knowledge, but the way of thinking should be developed. So your abilities to creative activity, your abilities to critical thinking, they should be developed in the way enough to remain an educated and which is much more important, to be competitive in the labor market, because everybody who graduates from the university and obtains the degree, so is going to enter the labor market and to become a specialist, and there will be many other specialists, and you are to be competitive and to win and to get that position and to be a success in it. There is a very interesting idea about the very popular hard skill terms, hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills means you have the abilities, the skills for your specialty, for your profession. You were taught to be an IT specialist, you were taught to be a doctor, you were taught to be a teacher, you were taught to be a manager. So, and these are hard skills. But soft skills, so are the competencies, the skills, the abilities, the knowledge, which are interdiscipline, and they can help you to become a real specialist. And the saying sounds like that. Hard skills will help you to get the position, but to develop in this position, to develop your career, you need soft skills. Only soft skills will help you in achieving your aim of becoming a great specialist, a successful person, and a productive employee for your country. So the next, I have mentioned this quote of Albert Einstein: education is not the learning of facts, but the training of minds to think. It's important because here learning the facts is mentioned. I will return a little bit to the previous history of our country. Ukraine got its independence, gained its independence only little more than 30 years ago. Before that, we were the part of the big country, the Soviet Union, and the education system there was not great because it didn't take into account all the things I am talking to you about. So the education in the Soviet Union was mainly formal, only facts, learning facts, and reproducing those facts. So they were considered to be important. Maybe it can be justified that it was the 20th century and we are speaking about the skills for the 21st century, and the education systems in the previous century, maybe not only in the, not maybe, surely, not only in the Soviet Union, they were not adjusted to the new conditions, but learning facts make you, it reminds a little bit the situation with the parrots. They can reproduce some words and even phrases, but it doesn't make them great thinkers, because mechanical reproducing using your memory and just repeating the things you have heard or you have read is not the proper part of education, because modern conditions of life and education, so they make facts very accessible. In the era pre-internet, before internet, so facts were not accessible to everybody. It was necessary to go to the library. It was necessary to get a book, to read something. Nowadays, Wikipedia will tell you about everything. Google knows really everything. You can access, you have access to all the facts, but the main thing is to know what to do with them, how to process them, how to proceed them, and how to make your own conclusions, how to get the real information you need. So thinking remains the core constituent, the main constituent of the 21st century skills. Anyway, so now I am going to tell you a little bit, to comment a little bit on the 4 C's. So why 4 C's? Because 4 words, 4 skills are mentioned here, and every word or word combination is beginning with the letter C. That is why C as critical thinking, C as creativity, C as collaboration, and C as communication. And you see that critical thinking remains number 1. I have mentioned in the previous slide that thinking is remains the core constituent, but critical thinking. I will give you the example of our reality, as Ukraine is in the state of war with the Russian Federation, and this war has different aspects, included information aspects, even different kinds. It means that everybody has the access to internet, and internet has a wide variety of sources, of sites, of channels. So it means that you are to be very attentive, not to be drowned in the ocean of information. You are to be critically thinking while dealing with proceeding this information. Otherwise, and you will have to deal with fakes, and it will distort the your world outview and the picture of the world, and the reality will be distorted for you. You will be cheated by the false information. It means that information hygiene is necessary, is obligatory. You are to be very attentive and to think everything over once and twice and many more times if necessary, to realize that this information is valid, it is true to life, and it is not the part of the information war of Russian Federation against our Ukrainian citizens. The second point is, the second place is taken by creativity. So it is connected with the previous slide. Just reproducing the information or just having the information in your memory is not enough for becoming a successful specialist in the 21st century. So you are to be creative, you are to have new ideas, you are to develop those ideas, you are to have and to apply your imagination and create and suggest something new. Because if the employee is ready only to use the information, ready-made ideas, and does not produce anything new, does not suggest anything, so it means that you're not going to be a successful employee, a successful professional. While speaking maybe about IT specialists, it means that this creativity, this skill can be applied as suggesting new programs, making new things, because we enjoy working with computer, working in the internet, thanks to somebody's creativity when they did it in the middle of the 20th century, suggested, like Steve Jobs, for example. If you are aware, if you know the details of his biography, it is important to mention that he didn't even graduate from the college, but still he became a great professional in his era, because creativity was his main characteristic feature. Even without being educated and awarded the degree at the university or college, he managed to become a famous person, and as a designer, developer, and as a businessman, because he managed not only to create his own ideas, to develop them, but also to realize them and to give smartphones with internet to everybody to enjoy this living with the media, with the internet. By the way, one more remark. Steve Jobs, once he was invited for the official meeting of the graduates at Stanford University, and he delivered a famous speech. If you are really interested in that, maybe you will be interested, you will find his speech at Stanford University, and the main idea of that speech is you are to look for the things in your life which you love to do, and only doing those things and applying all these things I am talking you about, you are going to become a professional, you are going to become a successful person, satisfied with your life and with your career and with your professional activity. A very important thing is also collaboration. Collaboration is the skill of working in a team. Of course, it is great if you are independent, if you are trained properly for your independent work, for your achieving the success. So it is really great. But there are kinds of activities, kinds of things which can be done, which can be fulfilled only in a team. For one person, it is rather difficult, and it is it is not effective, it is not efficient. And collaboration means you can see 4 hands here as the symbol of this collaboration. And it means that you will have to align your personal traits. You will have to align your personal wishes and desires and ways and traditions and customs with the others. And being the part of the successful team is really a very important constituent of learning skills for the 21st century. But after graduating and becoming an employee, you will have the same situation in your working career. So collaboration is extremely important. Then to become a professional, you will have to develop your communication skills. So I'm speaking to you and you are listening to me. It is communication because it is two-way thing. I am speaking, you are listening, and I hope that you are enjoying the things I am telling you about. But it means that to be a successful teacher for me means I I must have my communicative skills and must be able to speak, to express my ideas, to express my maybe feelings, my desires, my remarks, my sorrows, if it is necessary, my complaints. So it means that to become a great communicator, you are to develop your communicative skills all the time. In one of the previous slides, I have mentioned you about the lifelong learning. Frankly speaking, I have been developing my communicative skills for 34 years because I have been working as a teacher, and I know for sure that the things I was able to do in the first year of work, in the 5th year of work, then in the 10th, 20th, and now they are different really. It means that for me, the things I am talking about, so they are inevitable and they are very close to me because I have used all of them and I have been using and I will use for a successful communication because it will be the only guarantee I am a successful teacher, I am a successful communicator, and I am a successful professional. So the next slide is a little bit, there are many aspects in these skills for the 21st centuries and skills for learning. Learning skills means the things you have to achieve, and these skills for learning, so they name, sometimes they coincide, but very often they are very specific for just learning process, for becoming or being a good learner, a good student. Like, for example, motivation is here. The fist is the symbol of this motivation. So you are concentrated, so you have motivation to achieve something. So it means that you are a good learner only on the condition that you want to do it. Because in Ukrainian education, they say that I have told you, it is impossible to teach, it is only impossible to learn. But another saying sounds like following. You are to be, just a moment. You are to know what you want, because if you don't know what really you want, not any teacher, no teacher will help you. So you only can do it yourself. You can imagine your career, you can set your goals, and it is only your own issue. It is only for you to decide whether to be motivated, whether to be developing or not. So motivation is an important constituent of skills for learning. Then conscientious. So at the bottom, conscientious means if you are a student and if you work with a teacher and if the teacher gives you assignments, so you are to be very responsible, you are to be very hardworking, and to do everything the teacher, if you believe the teacher, you are to be conscientious, to follow his pieces of advice and to do his tasks, assignments, to achieve the result. So we have mentioned critical thinking already. It is obligatory, and collaboration, working in the group while learning something. Then perseverance. Perseverance means you have your personal traits, like being hardworking, like being very adjusted to the plan, very adjusted to the aims. So it means that you do maximum, you pay maximum attention and pay spend maximum efforts for achieving your educational learning aims. Then self-efficacy means that you realize, you are aware that your aims are worthy. So and your ways of achieving the aims so are ethical and they are efficient. So it's really important. I have mentioned creativity and problem solving. They are really important, but I would like to dwell a little bit on metacognition. It means that modern knowledge, modern amount of knowledge is divided into different sciences, into different subjects at school, at university. But in fact, the knowledge is common. By the way, you have seen my scientific title, PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. Philosophy is the science which was the basics. It is the most ancient science, and all the other sciences and relatively responsible subjects at school and at college or university. So they were made up based on philosophy. So first they were divided into different sciences, but later on they were combined. Like, for example, we have chemical physics and physical chemistry. Ecobiology, ecology and biology. Bionics, I like this word, bionics, and I like the idea of joining the technical issues with the biological, and the results can be just amazing, because everybody has seen the artificial intellect, or everybody has heard about it because it is applied rather widely now. And the robots, when we see a woman which is able to speak, which looks like a real woman, which speaks like a real woman, and even smiles like a real woman, so it is the amazing result of these bionics, and it is the joint knowledge on technical issues and biological issues, and they are combined creatively by people, by specialists, and we have such an amazing, really, product of their activity. Metacognition means that you can find the connections between different subjects, between different sciences. So they are interconnected and interrelated. And during this my talk, I have mentioned different sciences except skills only, and except my, I'm speaking to you, though I'm a teacher of English, but I know that a lot of different other sciences are included into my teaching activity. So there are different classifications of the 21st century skills, but the core skills, so they include the list of 12, and I will try to find only and to name you only the things I have not mentioned yet, and just comment on a little bit on them, because critical thinking, so it was also it was already explained. Creativity, I have mentioned it. Collaboration, so it was also mentioned. Communication is the core skill for the successful professional. Information literacy, it was not mentioned as the term, but in fact, I have told you about the situation with our country and with the sources of information. And information literacy means you are to be able to deal with information and to classify it and to proceed it properly and to use it, to apply it in your either learning or professional activity. Media literacy is very close to it. Information and media literacy, they are very close, but media means that technical. For information, you can use, for example, newspapers, paper variants, or books. But media literacy means being able, your ability to work with technical devices, with the computer, with the telephone, smartphone, and media also includes television. I am not sure that young people still very addicted to watching TVs, though sometimes they say that they watch youth comedies, sitcoms, for example, or maybe Discovery Channel, or maybe musical channels, quite possible. But being able to deal properly with the media resources is the important 21st century skill. Technology literacy means you are able, it is my weak point, I should admit, and maybe you have mentioned it for yourselves, that I'm not so great as a person to deal with all technical devices and all the programs, but I am a great example. My career and my case is a great example of lifelong learning, because when I was a student of your age, when I was a student of the university, there were no computers in the household, and there were no smartphones, and there was no internet. And I began to work without any, I began to work in school without any smartphones, without any laptops, without any other devices. But then when they came into our reality, I mean the reality of our country, so I was able to, I had to, first of all, and then I was able to master working on them. And as a rule, I work in the net, and my online work with the students so can be considered as rather successful. So technology literacy is just the thing, maybe the closest for you. I think that you can agree with me that being professionals in IT, so technology literacy is just your strong point. Then flexibility. Flexibility is not a technical, but a social skill, being able to adjust to any working conditions, learning conditions, communication situations. So it is really great when you are a persistent person, when you are a hardworking person, but being flexible is also important to be a real successful professional. You ought to be flexible, and you ought to be ready to change something and to get adjusted to the other people in the team, because collaboration here is important and communication is necessary. So all these skills are, I have told you, I am trying to stress it, that all the skills of the 21st, soft skills of the 21st century, so they are interconnected and interrelated. The new thing here is among the skills is leadership. So you are to be able to work in the team. Collaboration is important, extremely important. If the task, the assignment is, the aim is huge and it is almost impossible to achieve it only by yourself. So you are to get a team and to just share the responsibilities between the others. For this, you are to apply the skill of collaboration, communication, flexibility. But if you are full of your ideas, if you are a creative person, so and you know, you are aware that you know something better than the others, you are to demonstrate your leadership. And if you realize that the other members of the team are not able or are they weak enough to achieve the goal, you are to demonstrate your leaders' qualities, your leadership, and to lead the team to success. And they will be thankful for you, and you will be satisfied with the result of your activity. Initiative is very close to creativity, but for example, in advertisement, advertising business, so you can be a very creative person, but you just keep your ideas to yourself. And if you want to be a success, and if you want your firm, your company, your organization, so to be a success, so you are to show the initiative and to initiate some kinds of projects, some kinds of activities, some kinds of products, and so on and so forth. Having demonstrated all the previous above mentioned qualities, so you will see the results of your work and you will demonstrate high productivity. High productivity means that your company, your staff, is your colleagues, so they are going to be a success, and which is much more important, they will have popularity, maybe fame sometimes, and they will be highly paid because the productivity will demonstrate that you are efficient, effective. Your work is characterized by good results, and it means that you will be a successful business team. Social skills, so they are just important, especially if you deal with the team, with the staff consisting of people of different nationalities. So it seems to me that my social skills are to be at the highest now, because we are representatives of different time zones, different geography, different continents, different religions, different cultural traditions. It means that I have to demonstrate my social skills. By the way, as far as I know, I have read about that. I knew about that previously, but I tried to confirm my knowledge. So that the country is mostly, your country is mostly Muslim, and the color of the Muslims, the main color is dark green. And I have tried to use even the color of my clothes to demonstrate that I am respecting you, and I am talking to the people from different culture and from different tradition and from different religion. And I try to use to find the presentation where this color is also traced. So it seems to me, it is the result of my rather developed social skills. So common core. So the aims, which aims to set. It all depends on you, your working place, your aims you are to set in front of you, your desires, your inclinations. So, but the path to the success is only through these skills we are talking about. There is no other way to be a success, to achieve a success, if you are not going to use the soft skills, the learning skills and the working skills. So they coincide mostly in your activity. So, but still, you are to be critically thinking, to properly assess your abilities, your natural abilities. For example, for me, with my height of a little bit over 1.5 meters, it was impossible, even if I wanted to do that, it was impossible to plan the basketball star career, because basketball stars, so they have the natural features of having a great height. So the other things you are going to plan, say they should be aligned with your natural features and the things which can be developed, because it is impossible to develop a great height. It is impossible to develop, if you are a rather slow person, it is impossible to develop fast speaking. It can be a little bit faster, but not so much. That is why these ways of achieving the result are important also. You are to be clear with your aim. You are to be aware of that, and you are to be persistent and conscientious, and have the communication skills and the collaboration and others to achieve them. So the ways how to achieve the game, so or the aims. If you have set your aims, you are to realize which are the ways to reach the aims. So we shall start with part 2. So first of all, and the lower. So this arrow shows that all these things are to be included into all the parts of the curricula you work with them, or the teacher is going to develop a curriculum for his subject, for his discipline, and the teacher has to include, to take into account all these things, all these kinds of activities. And I have mentioned that all these skills are interconnected and interrelated, but they are spread, they are integrated in all the subject, in all the disciplines. So these things are to be traced across the curriculum. and the teachers should pay attention to it. So it is important to realize that the project part 3, we shall start with it. You can develop your abilities, and you can achieve your aims through writing, for example, writing essays, writing some messages, writing some letters, and so on. Graphics, graphing. So it means that you are to make graphs, maybe diagrams, to visualize your knowledge, to visualize your results of the activities, your aims. It is a great thing, and it seems to me if you are IT students, so you are good at it, and you were taught how to do it. And the next one is web developing is just for you. It is really yours, and you are to be really strong at this kind of activity, because modern world is impossible without web, without net, without technical digital devices, and without living in the global village. And just thanks to this, we are able to be present at this guest lecture. I'm able to talk to you, and you are able to listen to me. Audio visual, it is also important, making audio files and visual files, and applying audio visual aids while teaching and working. It's an important constituent. Design is mentioned here, and designing, not becoming a designer or fashion designer, but sometimes why not? Maybe some of you will become famous fashion designer. By the way, I have remembered the woman, a famous woman. She designs in America, but she is of Asian origin. Vira. She is famous all over the world because of designing her dresses. So she is rather popular personality, and quite possible that some of you will develop their natural abilities and will become the designers or web designers, for example. Performing, it's important not only to set the goal, but to be able to find the ways and to perform, to come to achieve the result, to perform. And I have mentioned already Steve Jobs is the Apple founder, and he was a person who was able to design, to create, to develop, to design, and to perform, and to sell the smartphone, iPhone, to Americans, and then later on worldwide, because he was able to combine all these skills for the 21st century, though he began his activity in the 20th century. First, community. Community means that, I have mentioned this also, community means that you are a member of community with its traditions, with its customs, with its mentality, and sometimes mentality plays a very important role. For example, Chinese workers, so they are famous all over the world by their ability to be hardworking and persevering. So community means that you are the part of it, and you, of course, you can ignore something, you can change something, but mainly you are the part of the community, and the members of your team will also be the kind of your community, only if your team is not international. Then you will have to be aligned, to be adjusted to the representatives of different mentalities, different traditions and customs and religions maybe, but still you are the representative of your own community. So part 2, so we shall go up. Inquiry process. how to apply all these skills, questioning, asking question. Once I was on academic exchange at the Turkish university, and I saw the quote, and I liked it very much. While asking a question, you will feel a stupid person for only a minute. But while not asking a question, you will feel stupid for the rest of your life in this question, in this issue. So questioning, I am a teacher. I ask a lot of questions to my students, but I also ask a lot of questions for myself and for the sources of information I deal with. And I am eager, I'm fond of being asked, because if students ask me questions, it means that they followed me, they realize the ideas I try to deliver to them. And besides, if sometimes I even give my students the task to ask questions to the topic, to ask questions to the text. It is quite normal. If they ask questions, it means they understand the material, they are aware, they are thinking, and they are critically thinking. Planning something, it's clear that without making a proper plan, it is impossible to achieve anything. Researching, of course, while working at your educational program, at your curriculum, so you make a lot of researching, you prepare your course papers or bachelor's paper or master's paper. So researching is a part of high school and college activity. It is really one of the ways to realize your skills. Creating something like making a project, creating, realizing your idea, or creating some product. For example, our IT students of Kyiv Polytechnic, it is one of the best technical universities in Ukraine. So with the beginning of the Russian-Ukrainian war in 2014, 9 years ago, so they began to develop some technologies to create, to be implied into the Ukrainian army, and they were rather helpful at that time, at the beginning of that war. Improving means that you become a better specialist, a better professional, a better student compared to yourself, but a year ago, 2 years ago, even last month, the previous term. So improving means you have your progress, you are achieving your aims, you are getting better, more professional, more aware, more skillful. It is really important. And besides, a great philosophy of education, modern philosophy of education, is not to compare you as a student with the other students, but to compare you with your previous version. So your results of school, your results of the first year or the previous term or the previous month, or even the previous lesson, the previous class. Presenting. So if you have created something, if you have done something, if you have performed something, you are to be able to present it, to advertise it. For this, you are to apply your creativity, your communication skills, and you will be a success. So, and the highest part of the 21st century skills, so the new things we have not mentioned, for example, building arguments. It is quite okay when you have your own ideas, when you have produced some creativity and you have developed something, but the other people in the team may have the other views and the other ideas, and they are different. Then building reasonable, healthy arguments, so means that your team will be a success because you can prove your ideas. You can support your ideas with some reasons, with some arguments, and it is really very important. And financial literacy as the last skill, which has not been mentioned yet. Financial literacy, I have mentioned only the productivity as the efficiency of your work, and if you are productive enough, you will be well paid. But you also have to be financially literate. You are to realize how money works, especially in the situation when we have a lot of new kinds of money, like online payments, online banking, then cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is a new tendency. Frankly speaking, I do not believe it, because it is based on nothing, on no material values, but still people use it a lot, and I have just shown you the way I think critically. So I have read a lot about the price of it, the development of it, the problems with it, ups and downs of its price, but I know about, I follow it, but I have talked, I have researched this issue, and I am sure that one day cryptocurrency will disappear, because it is not it is not supported by any real value. It is virtual. It costs a lot, but nothing is, you know, for the financial literacy, you have to know about the history of the money, the barter system in the previous epochs. It means that you were you are aware of the essence, the essence of the finance of the money. So they are to be supported by the gold, or by some assets, or by some wealthy things, jewelry, and so on and so forth. And cryptocurrency doesn't have anything. So we have come, it seems to me, to the end of our presentation, of my lecture. It took me an hour and 10 minutes to tell you about everything I wanted to tell. It seems to me I have told you about the main things, though if I am a talkative person and I can talk a lot and I can continue, but it seems to me listening to some serious things for long is not the greatest thing. By the way, our typical classes, our typical lectures last for 80 minutes, so we have used 70 minutes, so 10 minutes will be just used for questions, if there are any. I am ready to answer any question, maybe not only concerning these 21st century skills, maybe Ukraine, maybe university, maybe myself, anything. I am open to any question. I would like to have questions.
Okay, thank you for your presentation, Dr. Vira Butova. And then we have a question from audience in the YouTube. This is from Miss Novita Kusumaning. Hey, Miss Butova, I agree with your about critical thinking. It's important to have by our student. My question is, can you share to us what do you do to improve the student critical thinking? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. So really, it is a very important part of the 21st century skills. And for this, for developing my students' critical thinking, so I use special exercises. For example, I take two or three maybe messages from internet. and I make my students analyze these messages, these pieces of information, because I take different sources of information. Some of them are true to life, the others are fake. And the student's task is to analyze all the details, the sources, the facts, the connections between them, the time frames, and to just say if the news, to define if the news is true to life, real, or if it is fake. Then sometimes I try to play, as it is, I'm teacher of English, and it is the English practice classes. I take some kinds of game moments. So, for example, I tell about the gossips. They like celebrities and their life. I try to include these gossips about celebrities into the class. So I make them think over, analyze all the details, and find the weak points and find the false things, and to make the conclusions. Besides, one more thing is when I tell something to students, I have not told you at the very beginning, but I will tell you at the end. When I tell something to my students, I used to say, you may believe me or not. I will tell you something, but you are not to believe everything. You are to be critically thinking, even as for my things I tell you. So you are to analyze. The main word in this word combination is thinking, not just to believe blindly, but to think and to ask questions. Thank you. The next question, maybe.
Thank you for answering. And then we have from Miss Dia Rahmi. What kind of the trending topic on educational system for the university at Europe on 21st century on work industrial market for the preparation of the youth entering the working world? Thank you.
Just to be make it once again, just a long question, and a European countries labor market, but the beginning, please.
Yes.
Так, де це можна подивитися? Так, в чаті я бачу тут good afternoon, а де воно тут? Знайдіть, будь ласка, де? What, де, які саме питання? So we are going to find this question, тому що в мене тут не воно.
I'm ready
Оце це
in
воно.
the room
What
chat.
kind of the trending topic on education system for the universities at Europe on work industrial market for the preparation of the youth entering the working world? Thanks. Thank you for the question. The question is a little bit clumsy, I should say, but I will try to find the essence of it. So the trending topics on the educational system for the universities in Europe, in the European Union, and in Ukrainian universities. So the maybe not the topic, but the approach, competence approach. You are to be taught only things, mainly things which are to be applied for your career, for your education, further education, if you are at bachelor's program, then for your master's program, or to your working activities. So only things which are really worth being taught are included into the program. All the rest of things may be just learned by the students individually, independently, and this approach will be really great. Besides, it is important to keep in mind that these skills I have mentioned previously, I was talking about, so they are both for employees, for workers, and for employers. So they are to be the same skilled people, and only then if the employer realizes the importance of creativity, initiative, communication, collaboration, and so on and so forth, he will be able to employ the worth employees, and the workers will be a success, and the whole staff will be a success, and the whole company will be a success. And they are aimed at productivity, being financially successful. I mean, the European companies, and they hire the workers who are well educated and have all these qualities. And besides, dual education is very popular in Europe. Dual education means a student studies a little bit at the university, but then he goes to his future working place and tries to apply to practice this theoretical knowledge in his working place for some time. So for a few weeks learning at the university, for a few weeks so working in the company he will plan to be the part of in the future. Then he returns to the university for some period, and then he goes to the working place. Sometimes they are combined, not just one after another, but combined simultaneously. So these are the main training. I hope that I have answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you for answering, Doctor. And then we have a question from audience in the Zoom chat with raise hand for Mr. Sam. The time is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, Miss Novita, ma'am, and everyone. I have let me introduce myself first. My name is Sam, and I'm a student from STEKOM University. Here I have 4 questions for you, ma'am, and I want to ask directly to you. Okay, can I start now?
You're welcome.
Okay, let me ask the first question. How to filter the correct information in the internet, because today information are massive and some are hoax. The second, why is
Wait,
it
just a moment. Let me stop here and let me answer, because I will forget about the first question. Then you will ask me the second.
Okay,
in turn, the question turn. So
yeah.
it is really a difficult task, a difficult assignment to filter the information. So for that, you are to be, first of all, you are to any information, any knowledge, any theory is checked by practice. And if you want to do it individually by just making efforts to achieve this result individually, it will take time. You are to find the reliable resources and to know that they are the source of reliable information. For example, it took me some time to find the bloggers in the social nets, to find the sites in the net, to know that the information is checked and their information is true to life. Only reliable sources, but not from social nets, because blogs and social nets posts, so they are not mostly reliable information. The official, for example, if we speak about our war, the official Ministry of Defense, the President of Ukraine, the government of Ukraine, different ministers and different departments, so they are the source of reliable information. If the resource is not official, it may be a fake. Though if you take some time and check the information you read, for example, you read it today and you see that it was proven by the reality, by life, after a week or after a month, for example, you know, it happens once, twice, 3 times, and you know that this blogger is worth our naming it being reliable. It takes time, but it can be reached, or taking the information from the official sources. Thank you. The next question.
Okay, thank you for the answer. And I will ask the second question.
Welcome.
Why is it very important to develop 21st century abilities or skills for students?
Frankly speaking, it is the repetition of my whole lecture, but I will repeat it to you. It is really important to develop these skills if you want to be a successful professional. Without these skills, you are not going, especially when you asked about the European countries, European universities, European programs. So for them, for being a successful European employee, it is important, it is crucially important to have all these skills. Otherwise, you are going to lose the race and to be a loser and not a winner. And I wish you all to be winners only. Thanks. The third question.
Okay, thank you. The third, what kind of learning activities must be carried out so that the goal of achieving 21st century competency skills is achieved?
So, frankly speaking, there was some problem with the sound and maybe you so just type the question into the chat and I will read it. And the fourth question.
Okay. Wait. And maybe I will ask the last question, yeah. Among all the skills of the previous century, is the 21st century the best? Can you got it, ma'am?
Which skill is the best out of all I have mentioned? Де? Як ти тут? Зверху треба дивитися? А, вниз? Так. Та-та-та-та-та. Ні, так подожди, де ще, куди ще вниз?
Yeah.
What kind?
This is my question.
Among all the skills of the previous century, is the 21st century the best? Ah, okay, a very interesting, a very interesting question. Thank you. I have read it. So the previous century war, of course, the humanity is developing. The humanity is getting more and more huge. When I was at school, the population of our planet was only 4 billion people. Now it is about twice more. So the humanity develops. There was no this and that, no internet. Now it is the part of our life, and it means that the humanity is developing, and you are to develop together with the humanity and with the technological progress and the skills for the 21st century. So they will make you a successful person. And if we compare the workers of the previous, like, you know, the previous century, the 20th century agriculture in Europe, so was just like the previous centuries, I mean, the 18th, 19th centuries. So people went to the fields or to the farm and worked physically. But in Europe now, the specially organized space for growing berries, for example, for growing different kinds of vegetables or flowers. So I used different technologies, and everything is controlled by the computers, by the computer programs. So this is the difference. And for this, for working in the 21st century agriculture in Europe, you are to apply all these skills I have mentioned previously. Have I answered your question?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thanks
Mhm.
for your answer, ma'am. Maybe
It was
that's
my
all
pleasure.
maybe that's all my questions for you, ma'am. It's an honor for me to be asked to ask directly. Thank you so much, ma'am.
It was my pleasure to answer your questions.
Yes.
Any other questions? Mhm.
Yes, for another question we have from Miss Dida. Yeah, for Miss Dida, the time is yours. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Novita. Good afternoon, ma'am. Okay, I'm Dida. I just want to ask you about critical thinking. Actually, critical thinking is needed for us, especially for lecturer and students. Yeah. Critical thinking is all about how to think critically and good at communication, right? Sometimes it comes from some experience and makes us having critical thinking. Okay, in your opinion, how could we improve our critical thinking based on field experiences or some information from books? Because sometimes if people have a lot of experience in the field, they have more critics or more having critical thinking. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. My question, in your opinion, how could we improve our critical thinking based on our field experience or
Uh,
some information from books?
Miss,
Yeah.
just a moment please. Mungkin speakernya lagi kepental dari Zoom, jadi mohon tunggu sebentar, Miss.
Oh yeah, okay.
Iya, ini lagi gangguan sinyal. Ini lagi join lagi untuk speakernya, Miss. Reconnecting.
Speakernya belum hadir ya, saya udah ngomong nih.
Iya, makanya itu.
Novita nggak ngomong ya, Novita ya.
Ya, just a moment please, Miss.
Baru saja Bu menghilangnya. Tadi masih setengah mendengarkan speakernya.
Oleh belum join. Belum join. Bagi para peserta mungkin bisa terlebih dahulu mengisi absen sembari menunggu untuk speakernya join terlebih dahulu. Terima kasih. ODHNPO.
So
Wait,
it is the time for saying goodbye and the technical problems. So the internet connection so broke, and that is why we had to reconnect. So if there is one more question, I am ready to answer. If no, then I will thank you for your attention. And so any other question, or that is all, that will do.
We have one again from Miss Dida. Is it okay, Miss?
Ini saya ulang lagi ya, ini ya. Okay. Good afternoon, ma'am.
It is morning still here. The time difference is great.
Oh, okay, good morning. Yeah, okay, I'm Dida. Okay, talking about critical thinking, I always use critical thinking for teaching adults, especially adult students. Yeah, sometimes they need more critical thinking to develop our lesson. Yeah, actually, critical thinking is all about how to think critically and good at communication, right? Sometimes it comes from some experience. I mean, our experiences makes us having critical thinking. Yeah. And in your opinion, yeah, especially for students, yeah, college students, how could we improve our critical thinking based on our field experiences or some information from books? Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
your question. It seems to me I have answered partly your question because I have named the types of exercises I use, but the main thing is live and learn, lifelong learning. Only this kind of skill is useful. So if you stop your learning, you will be cheated, you will be faked, you will be deceived, and not to, by the way, a good thing is we have mentioned financial literacy. Financial literacy means you can understand the nature of the essence of the money. For example, when we have the advertising of reduced prices from the supermarkets or from some, when we have the announcements of low prices, do you have to believe it always? No, because if we count and compare, sometimes the price is, first of all, at the beginning, it is too high, and then it is lowered a little bit, and it is presented as a discount, but in fact it is not. So if you try to count everything, you will understand that you are going to be just cheated, and it is not a discount, in fact. So critical thinking means thinking, first of all, analyzing everything and doubting everything. Maybe we shall finish our talk by my personal example. My name is Vira, and it means faith, belief. But frankly speaking, I am a doubting Thomas. I doubt everything I see, I read, I hear. I always ask a question. Really? True? I will check. And then I check. And then sometimes I find that I was given the true information. And sometimes I realize that I was there was an attempt to cheat me, but they were not a success. So thank you ever so much.
Okay,
for
thank
your
you.
attention.
So everything we do, we have to think first, right, before we do action. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah,
It
thank
was
you.
my pleasure. Time to say goodbye. Really? So thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening. Thank you for asking me questions. Really was a pleasure to work with you. And so next time you will have another lecture, and I hope that you will enjoy communicating with us, collaborating with us, and there will be the continuation of our common projects. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much for Dr. Vira Butova. Okay. Thank you for our audience for joining in this class today. I hope this information will be beneficial for our audience, and I hope we can meet again in another event in the future for Dr. Vira. Yeah, also I would like to thanks for our participant. Thank you so much. Yeah. Before I close this event, we have to take a picture, please. Yeah, okay. For Miss Febri, the time is
Bye, bye,
yours.
bye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Novita. For those who haven't activated the camera, you can active the camera first so we can take photos together. Ya, bagi peserta yang belum mengaktifkan kameranya bisa diaktifkan terlebih dahulu.
Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Okay? Let me count from 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. I will return the event to Miss Novita.
Yeah, thank you for our participant for attending this class today. We hope we can meet again with all of you to another day. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Okay, I think that's enough for today's event. Thank you. Good afternoon. Have a good rest. Bye-bye. Ya, sebelum saya tutup, sudah